Welcome, everybody. My name is Lieutenant Commander Teresa Carpenter, and I want to thank you for joining us today at the Sea Services Leadership Association first ever Joint Women's Leadership Virtual Series. So first off, what I'd like to do is just give a warm thank you to our sponsors. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do this. So first off, I want to thank Johnson & Johnson, USAA, and Amazon. Thank you so much for helping us on this journey and being a part of our organization and our virtual series. So first off, what I'd like to do is mention our vision and our mission. This was actually worked out very intensively earlier this year to make sure that we were tying everything that we did in our organization to this vision and to this mission. So it's worth repeating because as you'll see in our future sessions, every single one can be tied back to this. So our vision is to empower a network of strong and inspirational women leaders who serve. And our mission is to grow service women as individuals through access to networking, mentoring, and opportunities to unleash their leadership potential and increase the effectiveness of the organizations in which they serve. We want to provide you guys resources to be your best. Next slide. So as I said before, my name is Lieutenant Commander Theresa Carpenter. I am a Lieutenant Commander in the Navy, been in for 24 years. I'm also prior enlisted, and I'm a Public Affairs Officer for the Navy and for the Sea Services Leadership Association. I got involved in SSLA back in 2010, and it changed my life. I was around so many inspiring women. I was just a junior ensign at the time, and it just made me want to be a part of this organization for years to come. And that's what's happened. I've been a member ever since then. And then for the last 2 years, I've been the Public Affairs Officer. And it's been such an honor. That's my husband right there. He joined me at the JWLS Symposium last year. The other picture there is of me doing an assessment. I assess units before they go on deployment, all their media programs. And that's me in front of my RV. I'm also a financial independence guru, so I try very hard to live very frugally as well. And now what I'd like to do is I'm going to turn it over to our president, and you take it away, Jenny.
Thank you, Teresa. So my name is Lieutenant Colonel Jenny Storm. I have been in the Marine Corps now for just about 21 years. I joined the military just because I was looking for a challenge, did not have military in my background. And when I went to the recruiter and they said that the Marine Corps had the smallest percentage of women, my mind translated that to be the most challenging of the services. And so I said, I will do that. I'm going to jump in with both feet. And here I am 21 years later. I've really enjoyed it. I did not, as many female Marines, did not want to be a woman Marine. I wanted to be a Marine. So I really spent a long time trying to not be involved with organizations that were focused on gender. But as it was about 6 years into serving in the Corps, I did find myself at a Joint Women's Leadership Symposium, and I was blown away. I realized that it's not just a bunch of women sitting around talking about PMS and complaining, but rather it was very empowering. It provided mentorship and just some amazing women to learn from. I was so moved that I sat in on their meeting, the board's meeting at the time, where they were looking for new folks to serve on the board, and specifically they needed a Marine Corps rep. I stuck my hand in the air, and there I was serving on the board as the Marine Corps representative. I've been on the board ever since, either as a Marine Corps representative, then I served as the treasurer, and now as the president. And right now I just try and keep up with the amazing team of folks that are doing all the great things that they are doing with SSLA. And I'm very excited for everything we've got moving forward. You know, the picture of me there with in my dress blues, you know, one of the things I really strive to do in the Marine Corps is to learn to find myself and to be unique and genuine. And I loved that picture. I was at a photo session and me just truly smiling. And that when I first came in, I was accused of being very stoic. So the fact that I need to be who I am, and if that's smiling, I can smile. That's absolutely okay and still be a great leader. And the other picture there is me with one of my children. I'm married with 3 children, and being a mother is extremely important to me. And my kids are the world, and I bring that passion for being a mother, and that passion for bringing our diverse way of leading into what I do in the Marine Corps and to the SSLA. So I enjoy my time here a lot, and thank you for this opportunity. At this time, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Lieutenant Theresa Friedlander to introduce herself.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Theresa Friedlander, and I am a lieutenant with the NOAA Commissioned Corps, which is a very small branch of service, but we're still a seagoing service. So NOAA Corps is officers. There's about 320 of us, and we don't have any enlisted. And we are stationed all across the United States in support of NOAA, which is the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. So tiny branch of service, still active duty. And I came across SSLA a few years ago. I've been a member for about 4 years and was really energized and motivated to get involved to help encourage others to learn about this branch of service and also network and learn about the other branches that are out there as well. I have been the secretary for 2 years now on the board, and I've really enjoyed my time with SSLA. I had some former experience being a secretary for a nonprofit here in Rhode Island, originally from New England. So I had been involved with a environmental education association here and done some secretary jobs for them, and felt like that was really a position that spoke to me, where I could get involved and not only help advocate for my branch of service, but also bring some of my skills to the table. So part of what I've been doing for SSLA is helping organize a Google Drive for all of our corporate minutes for all of our monthly meetings. I've also standardized our agenda so that we have a template every month for all of our speaking points when we pull our board together for our monthly Zoom calls, and just helping compile all of our historical information to help keep us standardized from here on forward. Lieutenant Colonel Storm's done an excellent job as president, really helping individuals take on their responsibilities in their individual roles. And we just actually had an election, so I'll actually be the outgoing secretary. We have a new secretary to welcome, which you'll hear about in a few minutes. But I've really enjoyed my time with SSLA. I know that we have some other NOAA Corps members that are out there, hopefully even on the webinar today, that have joined SSLA. And I really look forward to attending a Symposium. Last year I was underway, unfortunately, so I haven't actually been to the JWLS in person yet, but really looking forward to that, and hopefully getting an opportunity to meet many more of you in person. My photographs here, the picture on the left is just me. NOAA Corps has a number of research vessels, which is what I currently do. I'm stationed on a research vessel here in Newport, Rhode Island. We also have a number of small boats across the nation, and we also have aircraft that help support weather and hurricane hunters and things like that. So it's a really neat branch of service. I hope if you haven't heard of it, you'll take a chance to check it out. And then me on the right is me in my element here in New England, going skiing, trying to find some time to stay away from the ocean and check out some of the opportunities that we have inland, like camping and hiking. So that's some of the stuff I do in my free time. Yeah, thank you again for joining us. And I would like to turn it over to Major Maggie Snyder.
Thanks, Teresa. Aloha and good morning from Hawaii. I'm Maggie Snyder. I'm a major in the Marine Corps, and I'm currently serving as the VP of Membership for SSLA. Unlike many of our other board members, I have only been a member of SSLA for about a year now. I hate to say that, and I wish I would have joined sooner, but it took me a while to realize how valuable organizations like this are. Similar to Lieutenant Colonel Storm, as a young lieutenant, I wanted nothing more than to fit in with my male peers. And because of that, I really steered clear of female-centric organizations, PMEs, etc. I think many female service members feel the same way as they try to figure out how to fit into an organization where we are such a minority. Over the years, though, I learned the power that is the female officer corps. I think having female Marines, sailors, soldiers, etc. in your circle to mentor you, encourage you, and support you is one of the best things that you can do for yourself. So eventually I opened up my mind to new things, and I found SSLA through another board member, Christine Toronto, who's a great mentor and friend to me. So after I joined, I specifically ran for the VP of Membership position, mainly because I have a background in IT management, and I thought that I would have a greater impact serving in this particular position. I quickly learned that running the membership system is really only a small piece of the pie. This position is responsible for overseeing all of our new member initiatives and creating ways to facilitate mentoring and networking between our over 330 members. I have another year in the seat, and then I will pass off the torch in 2021 for anyone who's interested in becoming the VP of membership. If you have any questions about this role in particular, feel free to reach out to me. It's been a great year so far working on this board. It's my first board that I've sat on, and I've learned a lot from all of our board members. And I apologize if you hear noise in the background. Landscapers are out this morning. But my picture's there. I was an aide for 2 years in Quantico, and I got to travel all over the country and really all over the world. So one of those pictures was taken from Alaska, the one with the bear, and then the other one, we went out snowshoeing in Bridgeport, California, which was an awesome experience. I look forward to getting to know all of our members through my position on the board, and hopefully next year at JWLS 2021. So back over to you, Teresa.
Thank you so much, Maggie. And as she said, we are really hoping that next year we'll be able to meet in person. But the great thing about this virtual series is that the hope that we have is that this extends way beyond just our in-person symposium, and this provides our members with another resource to hear from amazing people and to learn from one another. So the first thing I will say is I'm also the co-chair for the virtual series and for next year's symposium, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So one of the things that we'd like to do now is just give you an example of some of the things that we've got planned for you guys in the next few months, all the way up until December, which will later be posted onto our website. We're currently in the middle of a migration, and so that's why we don't have the list of all the different sessions. However, they will be put out 1 week prior, first to the members. They get a 24-hour look to pre-register, and then we open it up to register for anyone. And as you've seen online, all of these series, they're free. They're posted to YouTube afterwards, and they're streamed on Facebook Live. So we've done everything we can to try to give you guys an opportunity to be a part of this organization and receive this information. So a couple of them that I'm going to touch upon is we're going to be doing one on September 8th. It's going to be called Breaking the Glass Ceiling, Female Firsts. So we're going to have people that are trailblazers in their respective areas. So please stay tuned for that. Can't wait to hear some of the speakers there. And then we're hearing you guys when it comes to all the initiatives around inclusion and diversity and the Me Too movement, which has also affected the military right now. So we have a Women, Peace, and Security session, which is going to be looking at policy making for gender initiatives, cultural prejudices, and it's going to have a very renowned expert who's going to be talking on those issues. So we're really looking forward to that. And then the other one that I want to touch upon is we've got one on military moms. And what we do is called Not All Heroes Wear Capes. And we're going to look at moms from across the spectrum, ones with civilian husbands, dual military, and we're just going to hear from different perspectives of people who have navigated their career and having a family at the same time. So that's a couple of the ones that we have. We have many more, including one that we're going to be having the following week that we'll discuss later. But we hope you guys can join us for all of these. And again, if you can't join us live, please check back on our YouTube or follow the JWLS Facebook page, where we'll have a recording of them either live, or you can just go back to it as well. So now I'm going to turn it back over to our president to discuss some election results from this year and to give some shout outs to some people who are joining us.
Thank you, Teresa. So we just finished up our last set of elections for this year, and definitely have some great folks joining the board, and very much looking forward to working with them. So the first that I would introduce is Master Chief Rakia Jansen from the Coast Guard. If you just take a minute and Google her, wow. I am so excited to have her join the board. I cannot wait. She's been in for 22 years. For the last year or so, we have been gapped on the board for a senior enlisted advisor. So it'll be a welcome to have her joining us. I would say the majority of our board is officers. And so it's always good to make sure we're not losing track of what would speak best to the enlisted members from all the services. And so I really look forward to her leadership, her guidance. Again, if you do some quick Googling, she is, so her rating is a machinery technician. She is the first African-American female Master Chief Machinery Technician in the Coast Guard. And so she certainly had her challenges and broke through and is one of the many firsts. And so it's great to serve with her on the board. Mother, a wife, she, Master Chief, Senior Chief. She's the daughter of a retired Senior Chief, the wife of a retired Master Chief. So she's serviced through and through, and she's going to be a great addition. Look forward to it. Our next is Yeoman Third Class Yasmin McZorn Hines from the Navy. She also has a very unique background. She's only been in for a couple of years, but she joined when she was 28. So she's definitely a more mature, young member of the services. So she comes to us with a good amount of civilian experience in the background, civilian experience before joining the services. She is coming on as our secretary and taking the role that Teresa has done a fabulous job filling for the last couple of years. So I'm confident she'll continue doing great things. She's got a lot of board experience. She was a program director for Girls on the Run. And if you're not familiar with that organization, it is a fabulous organization that helps advocate for health and nutrition and character development for young girls. So it's really a wonderful program. She's got a lot of time on various boards, and it'll be great having her on the SSLA board. So we look forward to working with her. Next, we've got Lieutenant Commander Laura Stager from the Navy. She is actually taking over Teresa's role as PAO. Teresa's not going far. She's continuing on, helping with putting on our Jewel Symposium, both this year and next year in 2021. But Laura is going to take the lead now in all the public affairs initiatives, and there are many. Teresa has done a fabulous job creating an excellent committee of PAO members that have not only a passion to do great things, but also amazing experience. So we look forward to working with Lieutenant Commander Stager. She's been in for 14 years, wife and a mother, graduated George Washington University, and she's going to be a great addition. I'll tell you, when it came to elections, there were many that put in to serve as the PAO. It was very competitive, and we certainly look forward to working with Laura. Next, we've got Information Technician Chief Petty Officer Sydney Moat with the Navy. She's been in for nearly 17 years, married, a mother, and she's a cyber person, right? So again, another challenging field. Not only are women minorities in the military, but then even in the information technology realm. So it's great having her. She will be taking over as the VP of Awards, and we've got our Midshipman Awards program that we do every year to award midshipmen. We're also developing SSLA awards that we will be communicating about, and look forward to her experience. She's been a coordinator for Sailor of the Year boards, and so she comes to us with some experience for how to conduct and lead awards boards. So I know she's going to have a lot to offer the board. Again, look forward to working with her. And lastly, Major Mariela Pena. We've got to make sure we get a picture of her smiling. Again, us Marines, we tend to be very stoic. She's coming from the Marine Corps. Obviously, she's taking over as the Marine Corps rep from Christine Toronto, who has been a fabulous representative for the last couple of years and done some great things, really bringing along not only the Marine Corps rep position, but the position of service reps for all of our service reps for the Navy and the Coast Guard. So it's been great having her. Major Pena is going to do a fabulous job. I know she's got 23 years in the Marine Corps. She's a logistician, and pretty much been there, done that. She's prior enlisted, served all over the world, and so it's going to be great having her on the board. Again, for all those who may have submitted and did not get elected to the board, there are plenty of opportunities to still serve and help on the board. So I hope you will stay plugged in And, we're reaching out constantly. We are developing task forces across the country. We have initiatives on more and more online initiatives. We recently wrapped up our first book club. So we've got a lot of opportunities for people to jump in and participate and take part. And when you are a part of the board, it's been fabulous. To the leadership opportunities that we get, again, the mentorship, to serve with some of these amazing people and to learn from one another is just fabulous. And it can be challenging at times, right? But it develops us, it develops our character. It's a wonderful experience. So very much looking forward to serving with these ladies. Those who are rolling off of the board, I know aren't going very far. So it's been great serving with them. And again, look forward to the next year to come. With that, I'm going to turn it over to Maggie, and she's going to talk about some of our membership initiatives.
Thank you, ma'am. Like Lieutenant Colonel Storm said, we've started to incorporate some new member initiatives within SSLA, which we are really excited about, because we know when you pay into an organization like this, you want to make sure that you get something out of it. So we've worked really hard over the past year or so to come up with some great ways to facilitate our vision and mission, and provide opportunities to mentor and network through all of the services. So the first one I would like to talk about is we have revamped our member directory on our website. And I'm not sure if a lot of people know about this, but this is an area on our members only area where you can search through our entire member base based off of location, service, or rank. So whether you are moving to a new duty station, you are getting promoted, or you just want to link up with like-minded people in your area, this is a great way for you to connect. You can go in and search, and then you can shoot a message directly to that person, and then facilitate some networking and mentoring. Second, we just created a members only Facebook group. I think we all know in this day and age, the best way to communicate and connect is through social media. So we created this platform to help our members connect on a daily basis and to continue conversations that we're having out in the real world and connect all across the world. So if you are a member, you can find the link in the members area on our website. Once you request to join the Facebook group, we'll just ensure that your membership is active, and then we'll join you in. The next one that I want to touch on is we are reinvigorating our task force programs. It was formerly known as chapters, but we have turned them into task force. So they carry out the SSLA mission and vision at the local level. Currently, we have two Task Force Iwakuni and Task Force Ike, which is aboard the USS Eisenhower. If you would like to join either of those, or if you want to start your own task force wherever you're located, the contact information and guidance on how to start a task force is located on our website. Like Lieutenant Colonel Storm said, we just launched our new book club, which we are very excited about. We had our first meeting a couple weeks ago. We had a fantastic discussion on the book Outstanding in the Field by Sandra Perrin. She was Canada's first female infantry officer. If you didn't get a chance to join the book club or read it, I highly suggest you read that book. It was an awesome book. But this was a great way to bring members together from across the country and discuss issues from the book. So our next club is scheduled for November. We're still working out details on the moderator and what the book will be. And then after the virtual series is over, we plan on doing these monthly. Again, you can find information of the book club on our website, as well as our Facebook group. So as we continue to grow SSLA, we really want input from you. This is your organization. So we're going to be pushing out 2 polls right now to get a better idea on how best to serve you. So the first poll is going to be in regards to the webinar. Obviously, we have members across the world, so we want to make sure that we're picking the right time frame that works best for the majority of the people. The second poll is to get an idea of what other member benefits you would like to see. So if you are joining us from Zoom, the poll should have popped up onto your screen. If you are joining us via Facebook, please leave a comment in the comment section about what time zone works best for you for the webinar, and then what member initiative you would like to see incorporated into SSLA. That could be a mentorship program, quarterly webinars, local or regional meet and greets, etc. So feel free to leave us a comment on Facebook, and please take the poll if you're on Zoom. And with that, Teresa, I will send it back to you.
All right. Thank you so much, Maggie. And at this time, what we really want to do is we want to open up the floor to you. As we said, as Maggie just said, this is your organization, and we really do look at your feedback. The feedback after the JWLS seminars, for an example, the surveys that we send out, they influenced the content for this series. So with that, there's two different ways that you can submit questions. One is for those who are registered in the webinar, and then the other way is on Facebook Live. Those comments we won't be able to get to during this call, but we are moderating them, and we'll be able to answer those questions. So I'm going to turn it over to Teresa to see if there's any questions. If there's no initial questions, I have some questions, but I want to hold my questions and see what questions you guys have and how best we can serve you.
Okay, great. Thank you. We just had one pop in from Jessica, and the question is, what is the involvement for Air Force members?
So what our Sea Service Leadership Association, so we were founded in 1978 for the Sea Services. However, our joint Women's Leadership Symposium, we opened up that floor to Army, to Air Force, to National Guard. We want reservists, we want retired. And one of the ways that we see Air Force tying in is, number one, we have a service representative for the day 2 of our symposium. Number 2, we want you to join us as a member. And then number 3, we do have a 5-year strategic plan in place where we do look to take the Sea Services Leadership Association concept to the next level. So that is sort of where we see us long term, and I'll turn it over to the board, maybe to Jenny to kind of discuss that more. But that's kind of where we're looking at it at this time. We do want Army and Air Force participation just as much as we want the ones from our Sea Services.
I'm just going to hit on something real quick. I just looked it up. In the past 30 days, we've had 12 new Air Force members. So they are a large portion of our membership.
Yes, and I'll just piggyback on that. I was following some of the chats in here, and we had one from the Air Force, doing a shout out. Hey, is there anybody from the Air Force? And that was Diana. And so definitely, probably your question has been answered since we had Jessica chime in with a question on there. So definitely, I think last year at the symposium, the Army might have tipped the scales for the largest number of any one service. So, the reality is we all have some of the similar challenges. We're all in male-dominated organizations. The Sea Services may have some specific challenges on ships that the other services may not have so much of, although I know the Army's getting boats. But we realized we had a meeting towards the early part of this year, the board did, that we really need to open the aperture and include the Army and the Air Force more than just our JWLS, but as our total membership in general. So definitely glad to have all the services on board, as well as NOAA. It's important that we're including everybody because we all face some of the same challenges. Great questions, and thank you for your involvement.
And absolutely. And from the public affairs side, we are working our branding plan to be more inclusive and to stretch that out. So in the coming months, you will see a lot more of that. So great question. Over to Teresa for any more questions.
Yes, we have a question from Olga, and the question is, what leadership development opportunities or resources are available for ROTC cadets?
That is a great question. One of the things that we're now working on with our new website manager is a kind of a plug and play educational development package. We've just started some talks about that with him, myself, and our vice president. But that also comes in line with our task forces and some of the resources that we want to give them as the months go by. That's one way that I know that we're going to be doing it, is trying to take some of the resources and the toolkits that we develop at the symposium and packaging that up for either to use for a ROTC unit or use for a task force. Another way that we work with ROTC is through our awards program. So we do give out annually an awards. You'll see that on our website. So that's another way that we work with them. Is there anything I'm leaving out? All right. And again, if there's something that you would like for us, or you have ideas for us on how specifically we can include more of the ROTC students into SSLA, please send us an email. We have all of our emails on the board members under the bios. Please send us an email with your suggestions and your inputs.
Okay, great. Thank you. We have a question in the Q&A. This one's probably great for Maggie. How many members are there currently in SSLA?
So as of this morning, we have 341 members, which is awesome. About 5 months ago, we were in the low 200s. So over the past couple months, we have increased by about 30%, which is great for the organization. The more members we have, the more networking and mentoring opportunities we have, and the more diverse community you guys can be a part of. I know one of the other questions I saw in there was in regards to membership dues. So right now we have a couple different ways you can sign up for a membership. So the first one would be a lifetime membership, and that's a one-time fee of $250. And then the other option is to do a yearly subscription, and that's broken down based off of rank. And so it ranges from $25 a year to $50 a year.
Great, thank you. Teresa, this is probably a good question for you. It says, will the schedule of future webinars be put out for planning?
Yes, one of the things that we did this year is we did a website migration. So anytime you do a migration and you have to build more pages, the pages have to be built in the new website. And so rather than build it in the old website, we're going to do this migration hopefully tonight, and then hopefully tomorrow morning we will have the JWLS series schedule posted, but that's a separate page or a tab that has to be built. So that's the only thing that we're waiting on. We do have like a one pager, I have it right here, that we send out to media, or we can send to anybody who asks us what's coming up. But that's the only reason why we don't have the sessions. And then some of them are a little bit more general than others, just because if we're finalizing a speaker, we don't want to announce the name of the speaker, those kinds of things. But hopefully within the next week, you should see a JWLS or Joint Women's Leadership Series tab on the website where you can see some of the schedule of the upcoming sessions. But in the meantime, do know that within a week prior, all members will get the pre-registration, and then 24 hours later, we do open that up to anybody to register for the seminars.
Another question here about other services joining SSLA, even Army and Air Force. It says they're wondering because they'd like to stay involved in JWLS above all.
Absolutely. As we were just saying, we want other services to be a part of our organization, even so much to the point that there may be one day that we change the name of the organization to be more inclusive. We change the branding. That is what we want. As our president said, uniformed women military leaders face very similar challenges from branch to branch, and we want to make sure that we're inclusive of that. So we want you guys to join our organization. We want you to take board positions. We want you guys to be service representatives. We have an Air Force service representative who helps plan day 2 of the symposium. We have one for the Army. So we want your input, and we want you to be a part of our organization. And we want veterans to join our organization. We want reservists to join our organization. We really want as many women leaders, women military leaders, or uniformed military leaders to join, including NOAA, including the Public Health Service.
Including DoD civilians. Again, the women who are serving in our GS or GG positions, open to them. And it's open to males also.
Yes.
Membership is not closed to men. And to be honest, I know that Teresa is probably going to announce one of these next questions coming up that's actually from a male member. I think some of the male attendees to our leadership symposiums have been some of those that have walked away with excellent lessons, some of the greatest lessons on how they can be better leaders and better mentors for the women that they serve with. And one of our board members is a male. He's been on the board for the longest period of time, John Dittmer, having helped establish a lot that we have in place. So not exclusive to anyone to join.
Yeah, and actually it's the veterans, the reservists, the civilians, I mean, those people help inform our organization like no other. We wouldn't, I always say, like, I'm not going to get to the highest levels in my leadership growth and development by just relying on one type of person. I want to rely, I want all different cultures, I want genders, sexual orientations, whatever you have it, because different people's perspectives and the cultural backgrounds that they come from help everyone raise up and help everyone be able to understand and enjoy different perspectives. So yes, absolutely, we do want that.
I think that's great. Thank you. Maybe Lieutenant Colonel Storm, you could answer this one. There's a question that says, how else does SSLA build confidence as a female in a field so dominated by men? Are there personal or leadership development workshops that are available?
So that's a great question. And I can tell you at the Joint Women's Leadership Symposium, that's really been the main thing that SSLA has focused on for many years. That was where I was exposed to some of these excellent opportunities. And again, it's 2 days. The first day is a joint day. We're all together. The second day is a service specific day. So you have the opportunity, not required to, but you have the opportunity to simply huddle with those of your own service and talk about issues that might be central to, say, the Marine Corps, or central to the Coast Guard, or what have you, including the Army, including the Air Force. They all have their own service specific day. But those opportunities where we talk about leadership and mentorship, those sessions have been integral for me. Lots of discussion about, being unique, reminding us that, for us to try and fit in is not what we need to do. Rather, we need to embrace our diversity and come to the table as we are. And excellent opportunities at the Joint Women's Leadership Symposium. But we've also noticed that, hey, we need to do more than just this once a year touch point, right? And so that's why in the last many months, we've really ramped up our other initiatives. And so the book club was one of those. We had some great discussion at our book club about different issues for women and how to succeed in male-dominated organizations, how to succeed when we're faced with, potential unconscious bias, how maybe we hold ourselves back, and how to be cognizant of how we are holding ourselves back and overcoming in that. So the book club is one of the initiatives, but many others. Getting the task forces established throughout different areas of the country. Recently, we had the USS Eisenhower establish a task force. So just right there on their ship, a group that can come together and mentor and share lessons learned. So we're also trying to develop more, again, members only type content through development of our website, be able to do some newsletters. So we've got a lot of really motivated and energetic board members who are pushing a lot of great initiatives right now. So there's much to come. And again, if you've got ideas out there, we certainly welcome those. And thank you for all of your input and participation.
And I would just like to add, I know Teresa mentioned we have a number of upcoming virtual series with some really fantastic speakers. So I would encourage you all to check out and join us for those as well. There's been a couple of questions that have come through about our footprint overseas, and specifically if task forces are allowed overseas, and what's the criteria for establishing a task force?
I'll turn that over to Maggie.
So we can establish task force overseas. We do have one that just stood up a couple months ago in Iwakuni. So that's definitely something that we can do. As far as our footprint goes, we have members across the world. I wish I had numbers in front of me to read out to you, but I would say the biggest areas that we have memberships in would be Japan. Obviously, we have a large Navy and Marine Corps presence out there. And then also in Europe, we have quite a few members in Europe. So we are definitely spread out across the world. As far as establishing a task force, I'm going to pitch that over to Lieutenant Colonel Storm, because she was playing an integral part in standing up the 2 previous ones.
Yes, so the task force, we simply ask that you come to us, you approach us, and you've got a plan of who you want to be a part of that. We don't want to just say it's one person, because you really need a team. So our last couple have come to us with a group and said, okay, here are the folks that want to be involved in this. Here's our plan. Here's our idea. At the board, we talk about that. And if we say, yes, that sounds like they've got a good plan and they're ready to go, then we give them the seal of approval for them to use the SSLA logo and name. And we actually document in a charter establishing that, hey, as of this date, these individuals are now responsible for doing various tasks in their area. Maybe it's a brown bag lunch event once a quarter, or again, USS Eisenhower actually wanted to put on their own kind of a mini Jules symposium. But whatever it is that it sounds like is the right thing for you to do, we codify that in a charter and say, okay, between communications, it sounds like will be a good thing, and the board approves that you go out and do these things. And we put some stipulations on that. Obviously, abide by the national SSLA bylaws, and we'll talk about what type of potential funding support you might need, or fundraising support, depending upon what events you want to do. So it's definitely collaborative. We have a board member who's specifically focused on helping to establish the chapters, Kendall Slaughter. So she's really our main belly button on that, and can help walk anyone through establishing a task force in their area.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, we have a question here from a third-year male ROTC cadet saying, I was wondering what lessons you would pass on about how to make female military members feel more at home or comfortable being seen so everyone can perform to their best without reservations. So I just wanted to jump in on this one and say, first and foremost, thank you for joining us today. I think that that's a great step in professional development for anyone, is just kind of broadening your horizons and which topics you expose yourself to. And I would encourage you, like Lieutenant Colonel Storm said, to maybe check out our JWLS Symposium. So definitely the rest of this webinar, virtual series, and then again in person next year. It's a great opportunity to hear some of the topics and the concerns that come up at the symposium. And also maybe offer up some of these opportunities like the Sea Service Leadership Association to other female cadets that you may cross paths with. There's lots of resources and mentorship and professional development opportunities available in SSLA. And I think that that's always a great way to encourage them to be the best they can be, is to help expose them to other women in the other branches of services. I'll turn it over to the board if they have anything else they'd like to add.
The one thing I'd like to add, and we haven't really used it that much, is that we do have a private membership Facebook group, and we would love to see that to be more discussion based. So after this call or whenever, if you wanted to join, if you aren't already a member, once you join, you do get an invite to the private group. And we think that's a great place for people to learn from one another, to share a leadership challenge that they're currently dealing with. And hopefully there's somebody else who's also a member who's had that similar problem or similar challenge and can help somebody work through some of those issues. So I think that's a great resource. As Maggie said, there's also the member directory to see if there's somebody in your area that's already a member, and just reaching out to them and saying, hey, I saw that you're on the directory, and I'd love to maybe meet up and chat through Zoom. I'm struggling with such and such an issue, and reaching out and just asking for help.
The other thing that I would add, I mentioned our awards program, and we've got the Midshipman Award. Every year we give a $100 scholarship to a deserving graduating midshipman. And we also offer, for them to come to the next JWLS Symposium. So I think that's a great opportunity for 5 very deserving midshipmen to have a trip to wherever our symposium is to actually attend and get that great mentorship and start establishing those networks really early on in their career. Because it's important to be comfortable in your skin and to know that there's a support group here. There's all these that have gone before. There's men and women willing to support and mentor, and we just need to take the bull by the horns and do it, and not be intimidated by the fact that we are a minority in a male-dominated organization. And so I think that's one of the ways that specifically we also help reach out to the midshipmen.
All right, thank you. I just wanted to highlight with some of the shout outs that we're getting. We did have a question about our presence overseas. We did get some shout outs in chat this evening from Bahrain and from Italy. So thank you guys for joining us, especially with the time zone difference. It's really impressive that we have people from so far away. We had a question here about, is SSLA formally partnered with any other nonprofit or professional associations or organizations?
That is a great question. We currently have a strategic communications plan that I'll be turning over to our new PAO. And in that, we have a list of about 11 organizations. I just actually spoke to the Naval Junior Officers organization yesterday. So we really do want to get that going. That is one of our objectives for this year, is to start those partnerships with those organizations. I just got onto the NOAA Facebook group yesterday. Having heard their conference last week, they did their symposium, which was excellent. So absolutely, that is an area of growth that we foresee is the enlisted leadership associations, as well as other affinity groups. And we also have partnerships with DoD, and we have partnership with Task Force 1 for the Navy. So we are very blessed that we've had this long-standing relationship with DoD, as well as with some of the service diversity liaison offices. And through that, yes, at 100%, absolutely, we do want to expand our reach in that arena.
And I'll just jump on that as well. And, I've had conversations with individuals at Dakowitz. There's a lot of opportunities out there, but through everything, we do remain apolitical. We really are here to focus on the leadership and mentorship. And so we do not do any type of lobbying or any activities like that. So when we do discuss any partnerships and leveraging, again, purely from an apolitical standpoint.
Right. And that's definitely a delicate balance, as Jenny was saying, because we did, of course, like all of you guys, we're following very closely what happened with Vanessa Guillen. We're following the George Floyd murder. And we know that we have a responsibility to educate and also to share resources and help people be better. And so we know that there are things that have happened to certain service members that sometimes prevent them from being able to do that. So one of the ways that we're going to do that, even in this upcoming virtual series, is we're going to bring in subject matter experts who are skilled in critical conversations and confrontation and bullying and toxic work environments, because we know that that's an important area that you guys even told us you wanted to see us focus more on. But as Jenny said, we have that balance of, we'll bring those speakers in, but they don't speak for SSLA as an organization. They're speakers who are sharing their perspective.
Okay, we had a couple more shout outs come through for members that have joined us from Japan, including somebody from our Japanese task force. And there's also a question asking what a task force is. So Maggie, would you like to maybe share with those that are on the call who don't, they're not as familiar with what a task force is?
Sure. A task force is essentially a local version of SSLA. So you come together, bring members in, and really attempt to project our vision and mission within your local area. So getting like-minded people together to have these discussions, like Lieutenant Colonel Storm was talking about, whether it's creating brown bag luncheons, meet and greets, hosting your own type of symposiums, really whatever you want to do in order to bring people in and kind of provide that networking opportunity for those in your local area. Whenever we establish a task force, the members of that task force are SSLA members. So it just gives you another opportunity to interact with people in person, because obviously that's a little bit better than online or over the phone. So it provides an opportunity for everyone to get together and really push the SSLA vision forward.
And I'll just add that it's very much like a chapter. And in fact, I think as I was talking about it, I may have said the word chapter. And we are actually transitioning any verbiage that we may have had on our website and such from chapters to task force. And the reason we're doing that is a chapter comes with it specific bylaws or maybe financial implications. It's a bit more difficult to establish a chapter, and then if needed, to disestablish a chapter. And so we determined that having a task force makes it an easier lift for everybody. So if you just want to do something, you know that you're stationed in an area for the next year, you know that you're in a particular job, or you may have some extra bandwidth and you've got a couple folks that are willing to work with you for the next year. Hey, it may be a task force that's established for a year. And then if there's no one who's got the bandwidth to carry on what you're doing, that's fine. Then the task force is rolled up. Easy day, a lot easier than establishing a chapter and then having to deal with any of the financial or tax issues with it. But it's very much like a chapter in that you are a local group of people, a subset of a larger organization that are just local coming together.
Okay, so I think we're caught up on our questions in the Q&A and in the chat. Teresa, did you have anything else that you wanted to address for Q&A?
I did not, but what I want to do now is I'm just going to turn it over to each one of the board to just give some final thoughts before we get to our next slide and talk a little bit about what we have coming up for next week. So I'll turn it over to Maggie first.
I just want to say thank you for everyone hopping on today and asking the questions. Like we said earlier, this is really your organization. So the more input that you guys give, the better we can make SSLA for everyone. So I appreciate everyone hopping on, and it was great to virtually meet some of you, and I hope that you guys stay along with us for the ride through the rest of the virtual series.
All right, Teresa.
I'd like to say the same thing. I'm really impressed by all the different regions and time zones that we have represented today. I really appreciate everyone tuning in and getting an opportunity to hear a little bit more about what we do. I hope we've encouraged you to check out the website and to see some of the opportunities that we've mentioned today that we have coming up, not only the virtual series, but again, the book club. Maybe we've interested you into looking into starting your own task force, or just, reaching out through the directory and getting involved with some people that may be local to you that you didn't know about that are other SSLA members. But overall, thank you for everything, for being a member and for staying with us. And I think there's a lot of exciting things coming up for us. And yeah, stay tuned for the rest of the series. It should be great.
Thank you, Teresa. Thank you. And then going to go ahead and go to the next slide. All right, so next week, again, we know that there's such an emphasis right now on toxic work environments. So we actually brought in an expert who has done a lot of scholarly research on this issue in the corporate sector, and a lot of the lessons learned can also be applied to a military setting. So it'll be on Monday, August 17th. It'll be 1300 Eastern Standard Time. As we said before, we're trying to get different time zones because we know you guys are obviously calling in from everywhere. So that'll be on Monday, August 17th. So our president, Lieutenant Colonel Jenny Storm, is going to be the moderator for that. And we couldn't be more excited or more honored that Admiral Hamby has agreed to kick this one off. And we're looking forward to it, and great to have you guys on the call today. I'm going to go ahead and turn on next slide. Please, please, please follow us on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We don't have our handles on there. We'll add them, but we also have Instagram. We have LinkedIn. We have a YouTube page, which will have some new videos very shortly. And like I said, we are doing a website migration. And once that gets finished up, we will have the full schedule of the series as it's being updated. So please check back with us for that. Anything that you need from a public affairs perspective, I'll be in the seat for another couple weeks, and then I'll be turning over to Laura Steger. I'm so happy that I'm turning this over into great hands, and just really excited of what's to come. Like Jenny said, I'm not going far. I'm going to stay on as the co-chair for the virtual series and for 2021. Which brings me to 2021 is in Norfolk next year. So hopefully this COVID thing will be a thing of the past, and we'll actually be able to see you guys in person again, which will be amazing. So we're hoping in June 2021, but we are still working out the dates and getting some of those details together. But as we get more information, we'll be sure to put that out to you. And so now I'm going to sign out, but please thank you so much for joining us, and I'm going to turn it back over to our president.
Yeah, Teresa and Maggie and Teresa, thank you all for your participation in the webinar today. For some of us, this was our first. For those who have dialed in, thank you very much. I hope you found the information valuable and useful. Again, we look forward to having you join SSLA if you've not already. We look forward to all the new initiatives. Like I said, as the president, I'm simply trying to keep up with this amazing board of great folks. Look forward to the new people joining the board. And it's going to be a great year. COVID be damned, right? So thank you all for joining, and have a great day.